In 1637, a single tulip bulb cost more than a house. Not a field of them, just one bulb, one flower. A wealthy merchant traded a canal mansion for it. Within weeks, that same bulb was worth nothing. Fortunes built over years vanished in 3 days. This was the first famous bubble in history, and every bubble since has followed its blueprint. By the end, you will be able to spot one. So you are never the last fool holding the bag. Let me take you to Holland 4 centuries ago. It was the richest trading nation on earth. Spice fleets returned heavy with silver and gold. Amsterdam had the world's first real stock exchange. Ordinary people suddenly had money to spare. And into this wealth came a strange new flower. The tulip had arrived from the Ottoman East. Its colors were unlike anything Europe had seen. The rarest ones had flames streaked across the petals. These broken tulips were prized above all others. Nobody knew the streaks came from a plant virus. They only knew that beauty this rare was scarce. And scarcity in human hands becomes desire. At first, only true gardeners collected them. They loved the flower for the flower itself. This is the part people forget about every bubble. It always begins with something genuinely valuable. The tulip really was beautiful and really was rare. Real value is the small seed that every mania grows from. But then the buyers changed and everything shifted. Merchants noticed the prices climbing every season. They stopped buying tulips to plant in gardens. They started buying tulips only to sell them on. This is the line that divides every market decision. Investing means owning something that actually produces real value. A farm grows food, a mill grinds the grain into flour. A good business earns real money year after year. You own the thing because it quietly works for you. Speculation means buying only to resell it higher. You do not care what the thing actually does. You only care that someone pays you more later, that someone is what we call the greater fool. The whole game depends on finding him in time. And a tulip bulb produces nothing at all. It does not pay you. It does not earn at all. So its only worth was what the next man would pay. That is a price detached from any real value. Remember that phrase, price detached from value. It is the quiet warning sign behind every market crash. Now watch how quickly the fever spread through the country. Weavers and bakers heard their neighbors got rich. A blacksmith sold his anvil to buy a bulb. A farmer mortgaged his land for a single flower. Sailors traded a year of wages for one bulb. Everyone believed the prices could only rise. This belief is the engine of every bubble. When everyone is certain, no one is cautious. The trading moved out of gardens and into taverns. Men gathered nightly to buy and sell in smoke. They drank, they shouted, they made deals on slate. These taverns became unofficial flower exchanges. And here, the madness reached a whole new level. Most bulbs were buried, dormant in winter ground. You could not even see what you were buying. So the men began trading the bulbs on paper. A buyer promised to pay at the spring harvest. A seller promised to deliver a bulb he might not own. They were trading flowers that did not yet exist. This was the world's first futures market in a bar. A single contract changed hands 10 times in a day. Each time the price climbed a little higher. Nobody ever planned to plant the actual flower. The flower had become a number on a slip of paper. When the thing itself stops mattering, beware. That is the moment a market has left reality. Let me show you how insane the prices became. One rare bulb sold for the price of a townhouse, another fetched a contract for an entire estate. Records list a single bulb traded for a fortune. That fortune included grain, oxen, wine, and silver. All of it traded for one flower in the dirt. Skilled workers earned a few hundred guilders a year. The rarest bulbs sold for 10 times that sum. Picture earning a decade of pay for one flower. Now picture borrowing money to buy 3 of them. That is what ordinary families were doing. Feel the knot that should tighten in your stomach, because anything that rises this fast can fall faster. Here is the rule no one in Holland remembered. Price detached from value always returns to earth. The only question is when the fall begins. And the fall always begins the same quiet way. In February 1637, buyers gathered in a tavern. As always, a seller offered a lot of bulbs, and for the first time, no one would bid. The whole room went quiet. The price found no buyer. That silence was the sound of a bubble bursting. If no one will buy, the price is a fiction. Panic moved faster than the mania ever had. Everyone tried to sell, and no one would buy. Prices did not drift down, they collapsed. Within days, bulbs lost 90% of value. The contracts were now promises to overpay wildly. A man owed a fortune for a flower worth pennies. He had the bulb. He did not have the buyer. This is the trap at the heart of speculation. The greater fool theory only works with more fools. When the fools finally run out, the last one pays. And there is always, in the end, a last one. Courts refused to enforce the wild contracts. The debts were ruled gambling, not real trade. Many ordinary families were ruined all the same. Savings gone, land mortgaged away, trust broken, the flower that promised wealth delivered ruin. Now let me turn this story into a tool. These are the signs of a bubble in any age. Sign 1. The price completely ignores what the thing actually earns. Ask what cash this asset actually produces. A tulip earned nothing, so its price was pure hope. If the only return is reselling higher, beware. Sign 2. New buyers arrive who know nothing. Bakers and sailors traded flowers they never studied. When the uninformed crowd in, the top is near. Sign 3. People borrow money to buy in. Debt turns a loss into a catastrophe. The farmer who mortgaged his land lost the land. Sign 4. Everyone insists it can only go up. Certainty itself is the single most dangerous signal of all. Markets punish the crowd that feels most sure. Sign 5. The thing itself stops mattering. When a flower becomes only a number, run. Now here is how the patient investor behaves. He asks what a thing is worth, not what it costs. Intrinsic value is what the asset truly earns. Market price is just today's mood about it. Buy when the price sits below the value. Refuse to chase a price running far above it. Graham called this your margin of safety. It is the room between price and real worth. The tulip buyers had no margin of safety at all. They paid a fortune for a thing worth almost nothing. So when the fall came, there was nothing to catch them. Every generation believes its bubble is different. They said it about tulips and railways and stocks. The object changes. The human pattern never does. Fear of missing out drives the price past reason. Then fear of loss drives it back to the ground. Your defense is always the same simple question. What does this actually earn and what is it worth? If you cannot answer, you are not investing. You are speculating and the clock is running. The tulip bloomed again the very next spring. It was still just as beautiful. It was only a flower. The madness was never in the flower itself. The madness was always in the men who bought it. Own real value and time slowly becomes your friend. Chase price and time becomes the greater fool. Next time we study how Graham measured real value. Every bubble ends the same way, in sudden silence. Price can soar, but value always calls it home. Buy the business, never the frenzy around it. The greater fool always eventually runs out. That lesson is 4 centuries old and still true.